Close of play of the first day, and England very much in control of this first Test match. They lead West Indies by 68. They're 189 for 3, having bundled West Indies out for 121. At lunch, they were 61 for 3. They lost 7 for 60 after lunch, including 6 for 18 at one stage and 4 wickets with a score on 88. A little bit of a disaster there, as Atkinson in his first Test match took 3 wickets in 1 over. He got his first wicket in Test cricket with just his second ball, a loose shot from Brathwaite, the West Indian captain. He chopped the ball into his stumps, and that got Atkinson away. He finishes 7 for 45, the second best England figures ever by a debutant, and the best in the first innings. And Jimmy Anderson really reduced to the role of an admiring onlooker at mid-on. He took 1 for 26, that was the number 11. From 10.4 overs. Wicket for Woakes, who actually bowled rather better than that. 11 overs, 1 for 29. He beat the bat a lot, moved the ball around. Ben Stokes actually was encouraging too. He found some swing. He took 1 for 14. There were some terrific catches in there. Harry Brooks to dismiss Louis on his debut for 27. A wonderful catch at third slip. And then Ollie Pope as well to catch Hodge at backward points off Woakes. I mentioned bowled really well. Probably the worst ball he bowled all day. Cut hard, should have gone for 4, and Pope took a superb catch. So for England, Duckett fell cheaply for 3, Crawley 76, Pope 57, and at the close, Root 15, Brook 25 will come back tomorrow for some more. The lead on 68. Michael Vaughan's alongside me, and so too is Carlos Brathwaite. We'll just chat away through events of the day. Michael, your summation of what you've seen today.
That's a perfect day from an England perspective. Ben Stokes won the toss. No surprise that he decided to bowl first. The West Indies made quite a good start. It was nervy, wasn't it? Jimmy Anderson, obviously in his last game, you could tell that there was a little bit of nerves around, and West Indies made a good start. And then suddenly, when they started to lose 1 or 2, you could see the inexperience. You could see the lack of game time required to play in these conditions. And I will say that, if we want the West Indies and these teams that come to the UK to compete, they're not at the standard of what we see from an England side in these conditions. Obviously, I just think they've got to have more game time.
Agreed.
I just look at that game they played last week. It was against a first-class kit, a lot of young, talented players. Just one game. You look at Shamar, and it's not down to the bowlers today. The batters let the West Indies down. To be bowled out for 121 on that surface, Gus Atkinson, absolutely magnificent. But I just look at the preparation of this West Indian side. I think, couldn't you have come an extra week, and couldn't you have given your players 2 games at least to get ready for these kind of conditions against the quality that they're going to be up against in the next few weeks? They probably will get better over the course of this Test match series. But, if we really want the West Indies and these sides that come to these shores, Sri Lanka in a few weeks' time, to really be competitive and give us a spectacle.
It's time schedule with the Caribbean T20. They want the players back for that. I mean, all these things had to be crammed in.
I just feel sorry for the players that they just don't seem to get the right preparation for the conditions that they're going to go and play in. We want to see England do very well, but we also want to see a contest. And I don't like seeing it. It's been great to see Gus Atkinson on debut. He looks the real deal. He bowled great. But I don't like seeing days like we've seen today, where it just looks so one-sided, and we arrive now on day 2, which pretty much, let's be honest, we know the result of the Test match already, and it was just down to the ball didn't do a great deal. It did just enough, and it was down to, if you can say to me there was a genuine Jaffa that was bowled today that a West Indian batter couldn't do anything about, I haven't seen it. I just saw mistake after mistake after mistake. And you have to say that this West Indies side just look ill-prepared to play in these conditions against the quality that they're up against.
Is that a fair comment, Carlos? You'd agree with that? Or just one 3-day game as a warm-up, and you're in... I mean, they're not sort of raging English conditions here, are they? It hasn't done a huge amount, but it's still a challenge for batsmen who aren't used to it and are very inexperienced anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing, the inexperience and Test cricket. I mean, we obviously delving into a deeper issue with the way pay and everything is distributed, the amount of games that you play. But you look at that top order, and between Craig Brathwaite and Jason Holder, the 2 elder statesmen, how many games? You probably got 10 if you find so much.
Handful.
So how can you expect 10 games across 4 batters to come and stand up to Jimmy Anderson in his 188th Test? So I think the experience is massive. And then you speak about facilities back home. I've been lucky to play in the English system and see the facilities and the support, the staff, the amount of staff that you have, and West Indies pales in comparison to that. So you're talking about every season that English player has under those facilities, under that support, he just gets better and better, and the gap grows bigger and bigger. So yeah, I mean, on days like today, you know, you start to think about how far West Indies is away from where England are now. But you remember days like the Gabba. You remember Shea Hope's twin centuries. So there's still hope, regardless if it's in this test, is a 3-test series. They come and get blown away in this test. We know West Indies play the best cricket when they're back against the wall. They can still draw the second test and win the third test and come away with a drawn series. They can still win the next 2 tests. They got a few extra days. If things go the way we expect, probably be a 3-day test. And they got a couple extra days to get prepared for Nottingham and Birmingham. So whilst they didn't cover themselves in glory today, you must understand that there are reasons why you can't expect a young player like a Mikhail Louis to come in with the same experience that a young Harry Brook would have come in with. Whether games with it under his belt at first class level, Mikhail Louis played 1 season, Kurt McKenzie played a season and a half.
Played well today, Louis.
And he played well.
He played nicely.
I've seen enough. But Test cricket, and that's what it's called, Test cricket, is not only being able to do a skill, is the ability to do that skill over a prolonged period of time against the best in the world. And you saw Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Jaden Seals, they put good balls together, but not good spells and not good overs for long enough. So that's the difference between the best teams in the world and the ones that are striving to get there. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's a horrible day of cricket for West Indies, let's be honest, but it's not the end of the world. No,
and not necessarily unexpected. I mean, it's not as though, you know, I mean, everyone's talked about the inexperience and the lack of preparation. So it was kind of on, you know, on the cards, really. But you do have to help yourself. You look at, I mean, Brathwaite should look at his shot for a start and say, come on. Opening batsman, I don't really play like that either, do I? I mean, it's not the way that he plays.
Yeah, I think if Mikhail Louis, Kurt McKenzie, Alec Athanas had played that shot, they would have executed a perfect cover drive. It was a half volley, but it's not Craig Brathwaite's shot. He's not going to fan at a ball, 4th, 5th stump, full and hit through the covers first morning of a test match. He would more pull, glance it off the legs type of thing. But I think he wanted to try to get into the game a little bit, feel bat on ball, probably even put a little pressure on the debutant. Gus Atkinson, second ball, half volley, going to put it away. Yes. But that's not your shot. Stay in your box as Craig. West Indies know the value of having Craig there for a prolonged period of time. He takes time out of the game, gets the lacquer off the ball, which allows the younger players and the more expansive players to play their natural game. So he didn't cover himself in glory, but if we look to one positive, they did very well against the new ball. They were very patient.
Yep.
Another positive is Mikhail Louis on debut. I absolutely love that second boundary he hit. Just a straight punch. Looked up, looked down. I'm at Lords. It's 4, and I back away. I'm not even going to touch the skipper. I'm on debut, and to have that sort of mentality and bordering on
Jimmy
arrogance
Anderson as well.
Off Jimmy Anderson in his final test, when it's all been about him. I love that he has that little bit of ticker about him, and in that shot I saw enough, along with obviously leaving, the way he gets into the ball, the balance, the head position, the way he was so patient once the lacquer came off and the ball started to swing. There's a few good things knocking around. The situation of the game doesn't paint that picture, but if you dig a little deeper, there's enough to build on.
Yeah, obviously with Anderson going, Michael, it's all talk of his replacements, and in they come, you know, the youngsters, the opportunities. Well, crikey, I mean, Atkinson's kicked the door down for that, hasn't he? If you think of the other competitors that are out there, but I mean, crikey, talk about seizing your chance.
Yeah, I mean, tremendous to get that start, the second ball to get Craig Brathwaite. You know, I can only imagine the boost that it gives you as a bowler. Look, he's a good bowler. We've seen him in white ball cricket. He's got that kind of zip and that nip, that little bit of extra pace, which, you know, let's be honest, rocking for pace. You know, he's trying to build a group of bowlers that, if you want to win the big series, a 5-match series against India, a 5-match series against Australia, it's not going to be 3 quicks. You're going to need probably 5 or 6 that you can rotate across the 5 matches. And you look at Gus Atkinson, can Josh Tongue get some fitness? Ollie Stone, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer. You start to look at, if you can get all those fit, and playing a few games, you start thinking, how are you going to get them into the 11? Who's going to miss out? And that's, I think, the hope for England by next summer is they've got a group of quick bowlers that you're actually leaving one or two out, knowing that the week after, when you're playing back-to-back games, you can start to rotate the quick bowlers. So I can completely see what England are going for. I can only imagine what Gus Atkinson's going through. I mean, the whole week, and I think it's been interesting because probably the last 2 months, really, it's been about Jimmy Anderson.
Yes.
And all week it's been about Jimmy. And we kind of forgot this one. There was 2 debutants. You got Jamie Smith, who I thought was excellent.
Yes, I was going to say,
with the
what
glove
do
in
you make
hand,
of his-
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not talking about him
He didn't
because
put a foot wrong today.
No, it was quiet, and that's all when you're not talking about the keeper, you know he's doing a good job. So he looked absolutely fine, and obviously Gus Atkinson, the second debutant, that probably just snuck under the radar and could just prepare normally. Jamie Smith yesterday had a day off. You know, his first week in Test match cricket, he didn't want to practice. He had a day off. I mean,
He did, yeah.
I wouldn't have dared do that, at any stage in my career. But I love the confidence of these younger players. I mean, I look at the preparation. I mean, Zach Crawley's hardly played any county cricket, but he played great.
Yeah.
In the hotbed of Test match cricket at Lords, he played lovely. Ollie Pope's not been getting a huge amount of runs for Surrey. Looked in good touch. Ben Duckett didn't come out and get many runs today. Played a T20 game on Friday night to prepare for a Test match. So this England side are doing things completely differently. Just one thing about the West Indies. I look at someone like Shamar Joseph. Shamar Joseph he's played one IPL game since that heroic feat in Brisbane. Why isn't he been here playing some cricket? And now we see him lying on the floor with a little bit of probably cramp in his groin or cramp in his hand. No surprise.
No.
So I think the world game, and we've spoken about it for so many years now, I just think the big three just let it happen. Surely we have some expenditure, as Carlos says, about the infrastructure of coaching and the backroom teams that the West Indies don't have compared to what Australia have, what India have, what England have. And that goes down through the Pathway programme as well. Surely the world game can produce just a little bit of fairness in terms of what they get in a back room for all these other teams around the world, because if we don't start spreading that, this will just end up being a normal day. We don't want today to be a normal day in terms of the competition side of Test match cricket. I just think that the world game, I know there was an MCC Cricket Connects last weekend here at Lords, surely they're talking about things like that the whole of the...
Well, I think they were talking about it.
Bangladesh, Sri Lanka...
No one's going to do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. When is it that someone will do something about it rather than just let some of these teams... I won't use the word rot, but that's pretty much what's happening to some of these lesser teams without the expenditure that all the top 3 teams have. If we don't spread the wealth across the game better... And I'm afraid more days like this will happen on a regular basis.
No, you're absolutely right. It has been a great day for Gus Atkinson. It really has. 12 overs, 5 maidens, 7 for 45. The second best England debut from a bowler in the whole of Test history, and the best in the first innings. He's been talking to Alison Mitchell.
Gus, congratulations. 7 for 45 is the stuff that dreams are made of, isn't it, on debut here?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty special. I obviously... nerves this morning, but once I got that first wicket out of the way, could sort of go from there, and it went pretty well.
What was your plan for that opening over, given that you took a wicket with your second delivery in Test cricket?
Just to get it down there in a good area. Got the wicket. It wasn't exactly where I wanted to bowl it, but it came off well, so can't complain.
And what was the feeling at the point you got your first Test wicket?
A bit of relief, to be honest. Nice to get the first one out of the way quickly, so... yeah, as I said, relief, and then went from there.
It did go from there. You found yourself on a hat-trick at one point.
Yeah.
Talk us through that little period.
We struggled a bit after lunch. We went for a few runs, but then, that sort of turned it a bit. Just I don't know, I just felt pretty good, and it came out well, and then, a few wickets quickly, and then happy days.
Does it almost become a blur when you take 3 wickets in quick succession, a triple wicket maiden like that?
Yeah, you just sort of go with the flow and then do what you think's best, and thankfully it came off for me today.
It was a big day at the start, obviously all the tributes to Jimmy Anderson. Normally I guess there would have been much more focus on you as a Test debutant. Did it help anyway that sort of you and I guess Jamie Smith as well were sort of left to just slip out onto the field and do your thing?
I reckon so. I said to Brookie before play, it's quite nice, all the focus on Jimmy, just to go out with no pressure. But it was a pretty special morning, big in the long room when Jimmy was coming out. So it was pretty incredible.
And has he had any words of advice for you starting out your Test career?
Nothing out the ordinary. It's just sort of go and do your thing. But just being around him in general and watching what he does in training and off the pitch and on the pitch has been pretty special.
And did you have special people here for yourself watching today, friends and family?
I did. I had some friends and family, and they joined me for my cap presentation. So, no, it was very special.
Who was here specifically?
I had my dad, brother, sister, and my aunt. So yeah, it was very cool, very cool.
And has the sign writer been up in the dressing room already?
It is. I walked in after the innings and saw it up there, and it's just where I'm sitting. So it's pretty nice to look at that. Yeah.
It's been a very special day, Gus. Congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the test.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
There we go. Gus Atkinson, 7 for 45. He's got a very nice, easy, slippy action, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I mean, I think he looks like the type of bowler that, you know, when you describe, he's done the batter for pace. Kind of just gets a little bit of zip off the surface. He just looks like he's got that kind of effortless approach to the crease, and he just releases it. He's onto the batter. Look, he's a quality bowler. He's clearly been on the radar for a couple of years now with England, and to start like that, to get the confidence on day one in Test match cricket, it'll be a bit tougher in the future. It's not going to be as easy as it was, and he's got that 7 for quickly, but you can't get a better start, and he's on that honours board, which is absolutely tremendous.
Doesn't it make a difference to see Ben Stokes bowling, and bowling meaningfully as well?
Yeah, I just think straight away with Stokes bowling in the team, it makes them a 20-25% better team. You know, It balances the attack. He's a wonderful bowler. He bowls wicket-taking deliveries. You know, he gets the ball moved around. That delivery that got Louis out with a brilliant catch from Harry Brook was a fantastic moment. But, you know, he's got such a natural ability to swing it either way with exactly the same action. So him being back bowling for England is a massive plus.